All right, we're back. Judd'z Budz, episode 114. As always, your host, Spokesy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Mr. At State of Hoppy, how we doing?
Wayne Gretzky plus Heat Daddy episode.
That's a good. We like that. That'll work. That's what we're gonna go with. I've been home for 12 seconds, so feeling great. It's hot as balls outside. I hate that. Covered in sweat. Don't like it.
With you
I'm out on the heat now. I am now out. I'm already. It's been a couple days.
You're now out. I feel like you and I have both always been out on the heat.
Yeah, no, I live out. Yeah, no, I never liked it. I was never in on it. It's ass, dude. It just, you feel like shit. Like the air's heavy. Like it's gross. You get like the fucking warnings on your phone. Shitty air quality. Go inside or you might die. Like I don't like it. So it's just
that's
terrible.
the Boston
There's nothing
thing.
good about it. Yeah,
Boston,
whatever,
New York.
Yeah, fucking New York. That's another. We can talk about New York. How are you doing? What do you got going on this week? Anything fun? Anything special? Great episode with Rupper.
That guy's fucking awesome. Like,
please just go off for a little bit
like,
on that.
You know what? Anyone that doesn't know, like Mike Rupp is just one of the better guys, I think, that's player gone media. And the guy just has stories on stories. And all you got to do is tee up one like subtle topic and he'll just go. And I figure, Z, the thing you love the most now being able to hear it live after I teased it last week is just the may I have this fight, Rupper?
May I have this fight?
I don't know. My personal favorite.
Come on.
It's the one that I teased with my promo post on the Twitter machine. Literally talking about how him and Billy are both big Star Wars nerds. And when they played together in Pittsburgh, Billy had a massive home theater and they both got kids that are the same age. So, Rupp shows up with his kid and they're going to have a Star Wars night. And Billy comes in like all serious, like, hey, there's only one rule down here. And he's like, what? I can't have drinks. I can't have food. Like, nope. The rule is as soon as there's a lightsaber battle, we all get lightsabers and we fight each other. And I'm just like, I need to, I don't even need to be there. I just need like an actual live cam of what the hell that even looks like. I need to know if Billy is like playing for keeps and he is just like full out tomahawking like he's back in the fucking Dallas Stars finals. I don't know.
Oh, I was crying. Like it's just so funny to me. Like, and my favorite part was I was like, yeah, it's like outrageous, hilarious, but it checks out. It just so checks out that Billy's just this like giant like child that's never gonna grow up. And Rupper, like you said, he's one of my favorite guys doing media now. Just like whether or not I agree with every hockey take he has, like I don't really care. Just because I like guys like that with that kind of personality, with all those stories. And I mean, he's played on he's played on so many big teams too, and been around so many stars that like he has endless amounts of story. And I like that he actually lets them out of the vault, which is always good. But I love Rupper, so strongly encourage every person to go check that out because he's such a beauty.
He committed at the end. He's coming on again.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, what just a man of the people.
The fact that he like said it at the end, I'm like, holy shit, I was gonna beg, but yeah, this is cool.
God, yeah, no, that show is just off the hot start. Love it. Some real A+ guests there, but Rupper was
we got to get as much momentum as we can before Joe goes on hiatus with the kid. Like literally every day I talk to him because like obviously I went through it recently. Like my kid's almost 5 months now, and every time he's just like, yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm dealing with, but goddamn, I wish this could just happen now.
He's like, yeah, no, that's how it works, bro. That's how that works.
No, that's exactly how it works. But yeah, off to an okay start. And I guess we can use that to parlay our starts. We can just tease that every week, and we know we've got something okay to talk about before everyone tunes out. Right. We got to talk those trades. Who would have thought trades right now? Ryan McDonough going back to Tampa. Did anyone have that on their bingo card?
Nope. I actually, the first 3 times I saw the like team accounts too. I was like, I'm waiting for something to not be correct here. Like when the fucking Stars and Red Wings did that shit earlier this year with like an old trade that they tweeted out. I was like, wait, I was like, this doesn't. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I'm not falling for it this time, guy. But they're gonna do it, and they did it, and it happened. It's interesting just seeing the speculation just for like what this means for both, like why both teams want to do this. And I kind of love the idea that so many people looked at Nashville and they were like clearing space for Marner, which would be like kind of fucking awesome. Like imagine.
I think there's better. What if, like, because the way this is all being portrayed, right? Barry Trotz is being the good guy. McDonough wants to go back to Tampa. Like, helping accommodate that, doing it for a very reasonable asking price. What if he comes back and just dogs him and offers Stamkos like 11 mil?
That would rule. Love
that would fucking rock.
Mm-hmm.
Also fits.
Yeah.
Like, they need a number one center. And granted, Stamkos isn't going to do that for the next 8 years, but he can give you a 3 or 4. That'd be fun. But yeah, Marner is the one.
I mean, any opportunity for anyone to play heel, I'm all aboard that train. So that would be amazing.
Well, but it's even better when like they inkle in like, oh, we're so nice, and then it's like, ha, gotcha.
Yeah. But it's interesting how it's just like it went right to, oh, welcome to Nashville, Mitch Marner. I still have a hard time with that one, but like,
I don't think that makes sense for them. They want a center. That center is the position of need.
Yeah. But like imagining like Bruno just letting Marner run wild, no rules, is also very fun to me. Like, just like, do whatever you want, bro. Go ahead. And like, people in Nashville being more nice than they are in Toronto, so it'll probably work. You'll probably get like 200 points, and like people forget actually still like people forget they got nominated for a Selke. Like what was that last year, 2 years ago? Like actually is good at that part of the game. It's just like, is he going to be the guy on Stanley Cup winning team? I think that's the big question, obviously. But like, it's fun. Like I kind of love that idea. In Minnesota, hate that. We really hate that. But you know what? Don't really care right now. And I do love the fact that people forgot you can already make trades. Like what is happening right now? It's like, no, they've been able to do this the whole time. Actually, there's not really like it's like they could start making trades for next year, like the day after the deadline. Like, they can
you
do
just
that
can't play anymore this year.
Yeah, exactly. It's just for that, like, we're like, wait, what the fuck was that? And it was like not a small trade. Just not a small trade. Usually, like any trade like that, like barely gets any like publicity. That one was like, oh fuck, banger! Like right before the conference finals. Hell yeah!
Especially when Elliot Friedman comes out and he's like, I had no clue this was happening. Like usually he's like, yeah, like there was something there, but there wasn't enough to report. He's like, nope, this one made 0 sense. I had no idea, but it's awesome. And I'm on the train of Mitch Marner to the Islanders, but I'm sure neither will happen. I'm sure he'll stay in Toronto and people will freak out, but Islanders makes so much sense to me. So what else is going to happen then? Like, what do you see besides Nashville and the Islanders? Where could Marner end up? And don't fucking say Utah.
I mean, the obvious one's Utah, but that's when everyone's
why would they do it?
Because I mean, like you look at the start they had to the year, like they've got the groundwork there. They should be like aspiring to be good. Big bang to like open the franchise, whatever. I'm not saying like, well, that's the question. So the whole thing with Marner, what's going to be fascinating is like, what is it that they actually like? What is acceptable for them? Because I mean, realistically,
they're losing that trade.
If you want to get any realistic idea of how the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to approach this trade, the last place you should go is like Toronto Maple Leafs Twitter, obviously, because they're like, just him not being here, you win the trade. It's like, that is absolutely incorrect.
Half of them are like that. The other half are like, yeah, give us Cooley, give us this year's first, give us Michelli and something else. And I'm just like, huh? What?
Yeah. I mean, like, and I said this before, like, just with, if we want to link, well, I know you don't want to, but like linking like Marner to Utah, like the first guy that comes to mind for me is a kid like Sean Durzi going the other way, a right shot defenseman who can give you offense. He plays fucking hard. He's physical. Like, he played for LA for a while there and played really well for them when they started to get good again.
Yes,
and like that, like just as a piece, not obviously not like a major part, but like
the big but for me is I feel like everyone's talked about him being a guy that was very much targeted by Armstrong. Like, he went out and wanted Durzi. I find it hard to think maybe he's like, oh, I can have Mitch Marner. Sure, he's on the table then, but I think a guy like that, especially when you don't really have blue line, right? Like, that's the one area they really can't afford to shave.
Right. Yeah. Again, I'm saying from the Toronto, I'm speaking just with Toronto. Like, they're probably looking at a guy like he's the right age, he's the position, he fills that need, and he kind of plays that style that they do want, where he's not like he's just gonna be a physical guy that bangs bodies. He can move the puck, he can score, he can help you on your fucking dog shit power play. So like he can give you a little bit of what you need. So like in terms of, and the fact that like if you want to bring back Mitch Marner, whether or not you re-sign him, that's still $10.8 million off your cap next year. Jersey's
it's 10.8
less than half.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it was 10.
So like
0.2.
But now my favorite thing is then they hire Berube, and all of a sudden you have people like, let's just, you know what? Why not? Let's run it back one more year. It's like, it's unbelievable. One thing happens where it's like, I can't believe you think hiring Craig Berube because he's a hard ass just fixed everything. It's so funny to me.
Honestly, I don't think Mitch.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
I think Willie Nylander is gonna fucking thrive. I think Mitch.
I think he will do the same thing. It does not matter what coach is there in Toronto. William Nylander, he does whatever the fuck he wants to do, and he is so fucking good that it doesn't fucking matter. Like, he can get shit on by a coach. He'll somehow get benched and still put up 3 points. Like, how'd you do that from the bench? I don't know how he fucking.
It's not even benching though. He strikes me as a guy that loves a coach telling him to fuck off. Like, he's just like,
and he loves being like, oh yeah, watch this. Doesn't even go back over his own red line. He's like, how about I sit right here, bro? Right here, neutral zone, Willie, baby. That's where I'm gonna be. 5 minutes here, bro. And then he finishes like game-winning goal, like ties it late, scores the OT winner. Like, it's William Nylander. He doesn't give a fuck, whoever the coach is.
I mean, you talked about Berube though. Like, do you think that Berube being there makes a notable difference, or is it the same shit, just a different person?
The thing that I do give like credit to as far as like what kind of a difference it makes is it does sound like, and again, I can't pretend like I have any idea what it's like in that organization, in that room, whatever. Like, and you have to take everything that comes out of Toronto media with a grain of salt. But like it's hard for me to disagree with the fact that it seems like the big four, like the core four run everything. Like, it's just like the fact that Sheldon Keefe had to like was hard on them one time and then to come out the next day and like apologize to the media for like shitting on the guys like the next fucking day, like, and realistically Sheldon Keefe used to say a whole lot of the right things in the media about how he wants them to be playing, and they would just not do it. Like, it was insane where it's like, so where is the message being lost there? Berube, you're not going to be confused about what he wants from you. He is going to, like, as far as demanding, it's like, no, like, this isn't, I want you to do this. Let's see if you do it. This is, I'm telling you, this is how we're going to play. And if you don't want to play this way, then fuck you. Like, okay, I don't care. Yeah. That's where, but I'll be curious to see if that even fucking works. Because I do, like, when you look at that core four, you can win absolutely on Austin Matthews. That guy, absolutely no problem at all. Like, when you look at the core four, because I was like, you can't, it's not even in each individual player, it's just 4 guys making that much money. Like, you just can't win that. Like, you can't, it doesn't work. Like, you can't do it. Because even if they all put up 100 points, even if they all go off in the playoffs, like, you get nothing from anywhere else in your line. Like, that's the thing for me. So I don't know if they're going to go out and say, we're going to run it back because we got a new coach, it's going to be the same result. Like, it's going to be the same shit. I can't imagine that, like, if the only change that they made was Craig Berube.
I could see them winning a round.
Sure, they probably should have. They should have won the first round. Like they should have. Like if they had just played hockey for 7 games instead of doing whatever the fuck they were doing the first 2, like trying to prove to hockey Twitter that they were tough and physical, they probably would have won in like 5 or 6 games. Even with like Austin Matthews missed games and they won. And William Neal, like,
I love how one of the first questions is, so Brennan, I know that you're quite familiar with Craig Berube because he beat the shit out of you.
It's like, yep, that's a fact.
Accurate.
And it's like, yeah, you could say that about half the league. Like half the guys in the league, like half the GMs, half the coaches in the league. He did that. Like he did beat the shit out of everybody. I thought
you were going the other way. I thought you were saying that they've all beaten the shit out of Shanahan.
No, Shanahan was a motherfucker. Yeah. People should go and treat themselves just going down a little rabbit hole of some of the crazy shit that Shanahan used to do. Good Lord. Like he nearly decapitated multiple people with his blade. Like he was a fucking piece of shit to play against. What a player, my God. And then he ran. I always forget that he was like the player safety guy for a while. He's also very funny. Like get the weirdest people running the shit.
I was gonna say, is it any more funny than the current office?
Brian Burke was in charge at one point. Like he's like, anything less than 10 stitches we call the shaving cut and like no discipline. It's like, holy shit, man, that's insane.
Oh, dude, the player gets suspended for not getting up quicker from the hit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, why didn't he just like? It looks like he hit his arm. Why is he not able to skate to the bench? I didn't know his legs were hurt.
Suspended for headbutting Trouba's elbow. Get out of here.
Yeah. What are you doing? Like he needs that elbow to throw at people's heads. But I don't know. I'm curious to see because, like, again, that can't be the only thing that's wrong, and I don't think it will be the only.
There's no way.
Like, it sounds like Marner is not going to come back next year. Like they were. If you're Marner, dude, like I know he's from there, but the abuse that kid takes 24/7, I would be like, bro, get me the fuck out of here. Like, call me so I don't fucking care. That is a miserable way to live. So I can't imagine that he would be all that thrilled by being like, yeah, I want to come back. I would love to sign up for this again. Like, so we'll see.
There you go.
And we'll see how, I mean, they need like young players to do some shit too, but you know, they have like a whole lot of fucking problems. That's the thing. Like the goaltending, huge issue. So maybe if you're looking at Utah today, like, hey, we want Vejmelka.
Yeah, I also think that they target a lot of goalies out there. I think
even the Nashville one there, everyone's saying Saros. And I'm like,
I get it. If they really believe in the young guy, maybe. But I actually, as much as people would think that it's impossible because of the history of the teams, Mark makes a lot of fucking sense there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. It'll never happen.
Right.
Like, because, I mean, even besides just those two teams trading together, like, Mark, that'll be like probably at the top of his list of his no move, like no trade, whatever. I bet they are firmly up there. I think like almost every guy that has a modified no trade, or like if they have at least 6 teams on their no move, no trade thing, it's like they immediately start with all the Canadian teams, which is so funny to me. They're like, fuck that. I am not doing that. I'm not going there. Fuck all that noise.
Is it more the exchange rate or is it more the psycho media? Uh-oh. I don't know if this is you or me. Oh, shit. Oh, it is Z. Awesome. All right. We'll see if he comes back. This is a great freeze frame, though. We'll probably abuse this. At least there's no straw. Okay, there he officially goes. Shit. Whoever. I don't know if me or Z care at all about the NBA Finals. That said, I am very happy for those out there that are happy about the Wolves. I'm way more excited about all of the nonsense and antics from Anthony Edwards. That guy is awesome. Him and Karl Anthony Towns at the post-game presser talking about how we have lost forever and ever, and going after the reporter who asked them, like, do you think you've lost enough? Man, I hope Z comes back. Otherwise, it's going to be a really short show. If anyone has anything they want me to touch on while I wait. Oh, he is back. Hello.
That's the first time that situation's happened doing this, which is shocking. What
was the situation?
Yeah, our apartment's comical. Like, it's a very ridiculous apartment where, like, sometimes the microwave just blows the fuse. The power shuts off, and then you just have to flip the switch and it comes right back. It's very funny, and that's actually that. Again, that, like, I've lost Wi-Fi before, but that was the first time that's happened while doing this. It happens all the time. Somehow we've avoided it mid-episode. But anyways, internet's back and better than ever.
I don't even know what we were just talking about, but that's okay. We can move past
no trade. Yeah. And I mean, speaking of Omar, though,
actually,
it sounds like that's
going
to happen.
Yeah,
like,
but
Omar.
Here's the team I think that makes most sense, and I want to know what you'd want in return. I think some kind of trade with the Carolina Hurricanes is the move.
Yeah.
That is a team that if they had Olmark, that makes a world of difference, and they've got a lot of guys that they just simply aren't going to be able to keep due to the salary cap. Like, are there any players on that team? Like, they're not fucking trading Aho. They're not trading Svechnikov. They're not trading Slavin. Like, who would make sense to you to make it worth it? Like, does it start with Natchez?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, you look at, and that's the guy that they've had interest in Natchez before. Like, in the past, it's been talk of, like, a DeBrusk-Natchez switch where, like, neither player was, like, clicking 100% of the time in those markets, and it's, like, it fills a need kind of for both where, like, DeBrusk doesn't have to be a primary, like, driver of offense in Carolina when you have guys like, at the time, now that I guess he's a UFA now, but like Teravainen was there, like Aho, like he didn't have to be that guy, but secondary scoring, he's solid. And then Natchez was just so hit or miss with him, and it continues that way. Last year, he had a monster year, obviously, his first big like breakout year. This year, he went back to being like inconsistent, but I would imagine that, yeah, they start with the RFA and Natchez, but they're going to want picks too. I mean, like, that I don't even know what Carolina has to work with for. Oh, they still have their first and second this year. I do wonder, like, what goalies are so weird. And like, Olmark won the Vezina last year. He won fucking like 40-something games. Had another monster year this year. And Swayman was just like the best player in the playoffs until they were eliminated. Like, he was the only guy that consistently showed up every fucking night for the Bruins and legitimately gave them a chance to win every night in the playoffs. And they actually just like left him there. And even the one game Olmark played in, like, they lost that game 2 to Toronto, but it wasn't because of him. He made some absurd saves that game. So, right. But it's weird because then people talk about his value, like, not being, like, obviously, I guess, like, time-wise, yeah, sure, right after the Vezina was, like, the most value he's going to have. But, like, he had another monster fucking year this year. And so his value, in theory,
his value is there. I think GMs are aware of who he is, especially when you're going to compare him to, like, do you really think that Markstrom's value is at an all-time high? Do you think Gustafsson's? Although Gustafsson we'll talk about, he's looking pretty good. But I think Olmark's the top goalie target, no question.
Yeah, I mean, he's got next season at $5 million, and he's 30. Like,
we like that.
So, I'm curious to see what teams are going to be, because, like, for me, like you said, like, that's probably, like, I'm probably, if I have a big goaltending need, I'm probably going to give Boston a call because that's already been out there. Like, if you're Olmark, obviously he nixed any move the deadline, most likely because he just doesn't want to move the fucking deadline. He'd prefer to stay in Boston, but at the same time, like,
it's not happening.
And I mean, today in the presser, Neely was like, yeah, obviously we would love to have them both, but like with Swayman, you're going to have that. Like, do we really want to have two guys in net making combined 17 million?
You can't afford it when Elias Lindholm is already on his way to Boston.
Oh God, I hate that that's always been a thing. It was it was so appealing.
Well, he's got to join his brother.
Yeah, same guy, same family.
Sorry, his son, his friend's son.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be curious, but I mean, it's it's the same. Like even knowing that they've got a sign Swayman, they've got a kid in Bussy that has been unbelievable in the AHL. So that's the thing. Like they've got guys that have proven themselves in the AHL, but that's still like, all right. Well, in that case, you are abandoning the thing that's worked. Like when the Bruins have had no firepower offensively, like this year especially, the thing that and like the defense wasn't the same as it was the year before, or like even in years past. The thing you had was a two-headed monster in net that was keeping you in every fucking game. So they're gonna have to like any move for Omar, you have to bring in offense, and you're gonna need those young guys next year to pop off. Like Poitras being out like halfway through the year hurt them, but even then, if you're relying on Matty Poitras to be like a primary like source of offense, that's still a problem. Like I think he's gonna be a really good, probably 2C with decent solid defense, good enough offense, but like even if that hits, you're still lacking so much firepower up front.
Yeah. But I think that's the point, though, right? Like,
yeah, this is the first
monster is awesome, but we've saw that can only carry them so far. Like, you've got one of the best blue lines in the league. You have the best goaltending tandem by far, and you only got as far as you got. Like, the scoring needs to be improved, and the only luxury you have to move on from is that goaltending. We just got to hope that you don't split up the cuddling teddy bears and all of a sudden they both suck because they don't have their buddy.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, and just taking more offense out of lineup, it doesn't sound a whole lot of like,
I don't know about this.
Yeah.
So if you check,
sounds like the Brust probably it's a long shot that the Brust they're going to sign him. Like their comments today again in their presser was they've been very aggressive with him as far as like, hey, we're not giving you like the bag, like we're not doing that. We want you to stay. And I think word for it is like negotiations is 2-way street. It's like, oh fuck, okay. So it's very rare that like Sweeney gives you that much in a presser. It's like, oh shit, okay. So that's how you feel.
He wants Daddy to go run with that in the media.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Drum up more interest for a trade.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. They've this is the first they've ever had more than like 10 million going into the space, like going into the offseason. So we'll see.
All right, last thing before we get into playoffs and Wild and draft, whatever. So we're already fucking in our bag. What do you think about Sheldon Keefe going to New Jersey?
I don't know.
Like,
because Sheldon, like, I only know Toronto Maple Leaf Sheldon Keefe, and like I don't even know how much of his own influence really like could have like I don't know what to like. I think he's a good coach.
We don't know if he's a good coach or not because Toronto did not do anything he wanted. Like,
that's what it sounds like sometimes, and there's other times when the media is like, "Fuck Sheldon Keefe." Like it's I don't know anymore. Like, so I think. I kind of can talk myself into like believing in it just because like, first of all, New Jersey just should have been better this year. They had another team with insanely bad injury luck. Yeah, there you go. It's like,
that's all it takes.
Right. So
now Lindy Ruff's back in Buffalo. God damn it.
It's so funny that actually ended up happening. Like we were like making fun of it. And then it was like, oh shit, it happened the next day.
You had like, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but you had to have believed that was actually a strong possibility. Like,
no, I know. I was like, I hate that this is real because the second that fucking Kevin Adams like we're looking for experience, I was like, oh, no.
You know who's starting in net now? Ryan Miller.
Bring him back.
We're running it back. Danny Briere, both the GM of the Philadelphia Flyers and forward for the Buffalo Sabres. I lied. Not last topic. Is Matvei Mishkov coming over?
It sounds like that's going to be the thing. I
also love how people are already saying like, oh yeah, I mean, he's going to be Kaprizov. It's like, slow the fuck down.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the thing with Kaprizov was like everyone knew he was nasty. I don't think anyone necessarily could have seen he was going to hit the NHL and immediately like first game 3 points, like game winner, and then just never slow down. But I love that. Like I love that they figured out potentially. It sounds like a way to get him over here, and it doesn't really surprise me. Again, like that fucking coach in Ska, like he got loaned. Like Kuzadinov was traded to Sochi. Michkov was loaned to so like he's technically still. So I don't know what the beef is there, other than like that coach for Ska is a fucking dickhead.
I heard he wasn't playing well. I don't know.
Yeah, it is 2 minutes that he was getting.
Justify that.
Yeah. So I love that.
Hey, if we're gonna go with the Tony Pants logic here, Beckman should have produced like Kaprizov with a third the minutes. Why can't Michkov produce with like 3 minutes a game?
That's a good point. It's a good point, Tony.
Also, did you see fucking one of our listeners went after LaPanta when Russo was asking for questions and flat out said and tagged him at Anthony LaPanta going to start eating Aldi steaks once he has no job because Bally's goes under. And Russo was not happy about it.
Russo's like, all right, and it's gone too far.
Well, it was just like the audacity to say something so rude and then fucking tag the guy in it. Like, damn.
That is legitimately an outrageous move. Like, that is so absurd.
But see, I don't know. It can be really rude at the same time as funny because I think it's funny.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to be the one that says it.
As a third-party observer,
I'm entertained.
That's one where you're like, oh shit, oh my god.
That's the one with the little kid that like walks in the room, he's like, whoop, and then he turns around and like leaves.
That's fucked up. Say it again.
That was great. But anyways, I don't know how we got there. Michkov, that's just like crazy to me that he might actually be here. And I love how Philly
Michkov-Tortorella dynamic to be fascinating.
I love how they also had like one okay season and they're like, yeah, never mind. The rebuild's over. Like they basically think that like this is like the Rangers getting Panarin and ending their rebuild. Yeah. It's like, oh no, we're good now. Like I'm not convinced you are. I'm not.
Again, they started hot, and then like the underlying numbers were good, and then the underlying numbers just fucking stayed good. And then they had Ersson in net after the Hart thing happened, and they remained like they kept their head above water, and they until literally like 2 weeks before the deadline, they were second in the Metro. And then Tortorella's like, "Fuck that." Tortorella was the voice of reason. It was like he was like Tortorella was the voice of reason. We were like, no, we're selling absolutely.
Hang on. He was the voice of reason at the same time as he was the voice that said, "Yeah, Couturier, you're a piece of shit. You don't get to play." Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like. It was, bro, you think you should buy? And Tortorella's like, nope. Fuck all of that.
This is going to come crumbling down real fast. Let's just.
He's like, things are a little too rosy around here. Let me tell the media we're selling everybody that's good. Let me go bench Couturier like a month and a half after I named him captain. Fucking unbelievable.
You fucking know that them picking right before Minnesota, they're going to take whoever all the Wild fans want. Like someone is going to fall to right there and they're going to do it and it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't even matter who it is. It's just people are going to be like, oh, no, should have been a Wild. Him and Perreault.
A Wild.
Should have been it. Should have been a Minnesota. Should have been a Soda guy. Some shit like that. Yeah, it's just going to happen. But it's fascinating too because like, the getting out of those KHL contracts is borderline impossible depending on the profile of the player, at least.
Sounds like there's something going on with his family.
Yeah, well, over the past like
since when does
8 or 9 months, it really to the point where I think even Scott was just like, you know what? Like, do we really want to fucking like fight this right now? But they're gonna get paid for it because that's usually how that works.
Well, yeah, but it certainly has to be him that pays.
Yeah, supposedly. But we'll see. I love it either way. Like, get that kid over here. He's so like it's crazy how good he is at the reputation he had. Then Russia, Ukraine happens. And it's like, we will never see these Russians play against their peers again for years in these tournaments like World Juniors or whatever. So we're never going to have Bedard versus Michkov pre-NHL to like see in their draft year, blah, blah, blah. And people and there are obviously lots of people who don't follow the draft very closely who actually have no idea.
Right.
But before all the shit with Russia went down, it was like, yeah, Bedard's going first, but Michkov, in terms of talent level, he is legitimately, and it's not like just looking for a narrative. It is legit. He is right there. Like that kid in the few international tournaments we got to see him in, where he was playing like 3 age groups up, he was torching those fucking games. Like he is so fucking good, and he ripped it up with Sochi, and worked on like his all-around game too, not just like creating offense for himself. He is unfucking believable. So I love, if they make it happen, I would love to see him in the fucking NHL next year, and just so people can see how fucking good this kid is, because it is legit. I can't imagine he's getting out of the KHL to go play in like Lehigh Valley. I just can't see it happening. So that
would be really weird.
Be really funny, but he's like, I don't care. This is better. Fine here. Yeah, no, they're nasty. But yeah, Michkov, get him the fuck over here. Make it happen. I love it.
All right. Well, we are seconds away from puck drop for Rangers Panthers. What do we want to see here? What's the expectation? Like, what are you most interested to see here? Game one, throughout the series, whatever.
It like, this has now been 2 years of this. I still don't understand how Florida's so good defensively. Like even last year, right? They had fucking like Mark Stahl playing 22 minutes a night in the playoffs. This year, they've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Dmitry Kulikov playing 20 minutes a night. And like, fine. And like their numbers are unbelievable. That's part of having Gustav Forsling, who, when like, if you want to talk about the most underrated player in the league, like stop saying fucking Sasha Barkov. Please stop saying it. I've been begging for that for 6 years. Like, just stop saying it. Like, people know.
It's so dumb, dude. Like, he is incredible. Everyone knows it. He's not underrated. He's very properly rated. He just won the Selke. Like, shut up.
His second one. He already won it.
No, for sure. And everyone needs to check out Russo's article on The Athletic. But weird. Maybe we need to give defensemen a little bit of time to develop. Maybe some of you should have been a little bit nicer to Kalen Addison. And if I swear to God, Dean Evison gets hired in San Jose, I'll cry.
Okay, that'll be the end of you. That'll be the end of all hockey content from the state of hoppy. That's it. That's just where it all ends. But so that's the thing that really stands out for me, and the fact that like Bob still has like either right around a 900 or just under 900 save percentage, and he gets crazy to me. Dude, but like Matthew Tkachuk hasn't popped off yet. That's terrifying if you're the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying if you're the New York Rangers. And that, like, Anton Lundell's been unbelievable for them. Like, it's crazy to me that the Panthers have made like relatively light work. They made light work of Tampa, no problem. Boston for the most part. Boston only stayed in games because of Jeremy Swayman. Like, they had chances in games to score because they're very much quality over quantity, whatever. That'll never work against Florida, but like, it's fine. But like guys like Lundell, unreal. Like, those are the players that really did a job for them. Like, Ekblad was.
Isn't Michael Rossi that good?
Oh God. Like Ekblad last series against Boston was fucking brutal, and they had guys again like Ekman-Larsson, Kulikov. Forsling's just gonna do Forsling things every game. It's just his, and fucking Mikkola. Those guys are doing jobs. So like, if they actually get their whole lineup to click, which like when they're rolling, they're terrifying. Like, it's just you don't have the puck. All they do, they play 1,000 miles an hour. They kill you off the rush. And then, like, even if they don't get a scoring chance, they'll just like chip it in, and someone's coming to kill you. I'll be very curious to see how like New York handles that part. I think they have the guys that can handle it, but they're gonna have to like Jacob Trouba's gonna have to break a puck out. He's gonna have to be able to do that. Like
He'll
he just has to. Yeah, he's gonna break something, and it better be the puck out of the zone.
Like hand up, before the year, I wasn't sure the Panthers are gonna make the playoffs.
Yep.
By Christmas, completely changed my tune. I did not think they could defend. I loved everything else, but their blue line scared the shit out of me, and I ate my words and immediately pivoted to holy shit, Florida's going to win the cup. And man, this series to me is like weirdly going to be disciplined, because if like Florida needs to be running around like idiots, that's their game.
Right.
But if you do that against the Rangers, that is how they score. Their power play is all they fucking have. They are not going to do anything crazy 5-on-5. Power play, they will punish you. And I think the fun thing that I'm sure I'm not the first to say this, but I haven't really heard people talk about it much, is this is the Columbus series, man. These are the two guys they held on to, made their run, swept the fucking dominant Tampa Bay Lightning, and then both pieced out, which dude, who would have thought Bobrovsky would be doing this right now? 3 years ago, we were saying, holy fuck, this is the worst contract that's ever been signed. And here he is just doing the thing.
It's so weird though. Like, it's not that he's like these playoffs, he's made the timely saves, and some of the timely saves, I don't know how the puck's hitting him. He had one save against Boston at the end of game 3 or 4, because they were pushing, and it was just like a shot from the blue line, not like a fucking bomb, but like he jumped. I was like, why are you doing that? And like it took 3 deflections, and he somehow just like kind of moved his leg. It was the most absurd toe save that he was in one by his own creation. Like he did it himself. Like he took himself out of the net by jumping for no fucking reason. Fucking somehow the puck hits his fucking skate, and it's like, this is absurd. Like, the guy has either a sub 9 or a 900 in the playoffs, and no problem. So it's the timely saves, like you said, that's what matters, and that this is where they are.
Dude,
it blows my mind to me.
Shout out Jesse Marshall of The Athletic, covering the Penguins. For my money, like he's one of my favorite writers, and I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. But he actually just brought this up. It was either earlier today or yesterday with Tom Barrasso. Like, the only reason that he doesn't get more shine is because, like, yeah, he was going to give up at probably at least 2, if not 3 goals a game. But when you needed him to lock down at the end of a game and get a big win, you could not beat him. You couldn't. Yeah. It was the timely saves that, like, I know, yeah, at the end of the day, you need to make more saves. Otherwise, your team's going to be in a hole a lot more often than not. But there's not enough credence given to, oh, shit, you made that save at that time that completely changed the game. It's a big deal. And he's not doing what he did last year, right? Last year, Bobrovsky was a freak of nature, and it made no sense. This year, he's a little bit more human, but I still think compared to what people thought a couple of years ago, it's insane that he's even doing this. Like, everyone thought that this, if you told me back then, like, oh, shit, Panthers are on a run to go win a Stanley Cup, I'd be like, oh, shit, things worked out real well with Spencer Knight.
I mean, he didn't start the playoffs last year. Like, he was so brutal.
Didn't they have Lyon? Wasn't it Alex Lyon?
Yes. Alex Lyon was starting.
He is good.
He is a goalie.
Yeah, he is a goalie. From, like, literally a mile away from the Canadian border.
Yeah.
But he's still one of ours.
He's our guy.
My brother said, so my brother played against him his senior year of high school. I think they're the same class. And he said, like, I think they outshot him like 50 to like 13. He's like, dude, we tied 1-1 because we could not beat this goalie. It was impossible.
Yeah, it's great. It's fucking the goaltending thing is just fucking bananas to me.
But all right, so who are you taking? Which way is this going to go?
I feel like I still end up going New York.
Fucker.
I think like they're just getting like Panarin has that off series against Carolina, and they've got Vinny Trocheck doing his thing. Like they've got so many guys that can give you something when your top guys aren't going. Chris Kreider, by the way, just the way that he plays, it blows my mind that he is the all-time leading playoff goal scorer for the New York Rangers, an original six fucking hockey team. It blows my mind. And what a fucking performance in that series clincher. Not even the whole game, just the fucking third period. Natural hat trick, which by the way, I need to like, I feel so bad for a guy like Jordan Martinook who made, when he cleared that puck off the line, I was like, oh shit, they're going to win this game. They're going to win game 7. Like that's the play that we're going to look back and be like, he did that. He literally, like, that's the play that they like that won them the series. And fucking Carolina, they just couldn't help themselves. It is like, I think that New York series actually like finally exposed that style of play. Like they can't do that. Like you can't win a cup like that. Because that's like, oh, look at the shots. It's like, okay, where are the shots coming from? Please look.
Yes, I agree. But I also feel like when you're going to be a team that wholly relies on your 5-on-5 game where like you are one of the best in the league, you gotta have people that can fucking score, man. You gotta. Like they don't have that in them. Like I don't know. I just feel like they're just missing that like one or two guys that can bury that makes all the difference in the world. I think that's what they hoped Gensel would be. And like, I'm not saying he played poorly, but like if Jake Gensel is the Jake Gensel we've seen before, which good luck doing that without Crosby, but I think it's a different story. I think that regardless of their style of play, they could have won that series. It's just, if you rely all on your 5-on-5 game, you've got no special teams, you lose that battle full out, you gotta be able to convert on the 5-on-5. I don't care what your puck possession is. I don't care if you limit their chances. If they score 2 power play goals a night, you're fucked.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing with them. There's such a volume offense, folks. Like, it's volume. And then they just, like, their game plan's like, yeah.
But against a guy like Shesterkin, he wants the volume. He's like, yeah, keep giving me pucks. Let's go.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, let Brent Burns send 12 shot attempts per night from the blue line. That's fine. I will.
You had to say Brent Burns.
Well, when they traded for him, I was like, I love that trade because he fits what they want to do so well.
Right.
And the fact that it's Brent Burns in Carolina, it's just the market made sense. Brent Burns is still fucking unbelievable, by the way. Like
he is.
He is the fucking man. I love that.
I think he's got 5 more years if he wants it.
If he wants to, he could, like, he might not be playing 20 minutes a night, but like that guy could have won fucking Norris last year. Like he was in the Norris conversation.
Oh man.
Like he was unbelievable.
Dude,
he is an absolute specimen of a human being. But like, again, Carolina, like you said, like I think part of the reason that they don't finish is like they are so focused on that volume and like so much perimeter offense, and then like they grind. Like it's the Rod Brindamore style, which like it's great. Even if it works though, that's fucking exhausting to do for 82 games, and then you're gonna have to win 16 playoff games. That's fucking like you have to have 4 lines of absolute fucking dogs, like that don't ever get tired. it's exhausting to do. And I still think they should have made like that. I mean, they ended up making it a series, I guess, but like
fucking Brindamore coming out and basically saying like, yeah, I didn't think my contract was going to get done, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Doing his I love your level of love for how he talks, dude. He went on with Merrick. He's like, yeah, I didn't think it was going to get done. He's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, yeah.
He's like foaming at the mouth. He's just
but he's like,
"Ah,
yeah, it seemed really good earlier in the year, and then got down to it, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are. It happened.
fucking." He's like twitching, and you're like, Jesus Christ, man. He's like, get the fuck deep into your bodies. Fuck. Jesus Christ, man. We're talking about the contract.
He's something.
He's a beauty. I like. Imagine playing for Rod Brindamore. You're like, I will run through every brick wall you put in front of me, sir. Please put
because
more.
you're probably on just as much caffeine as he is.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
Like,
That's what's in his blood.
I don't remember. Do you watch South Park at all or no?
No.
Like, he is Tweak. And I'll send you videos after this. Anyone listening, watching that is a South Park fan, Tweak is the exact that is Rod Brindamore is the adult, dyed his hair black version of Tweak. You won't convince me otherwise. All right. Well, you're saying Rangers. I'm saying Panthers. I think I already mentioned the path to the Rangers winning is just undisciplined play and Florida trying to be too tough. But if they can almost reverse engineer the Toronto Maple Leafs and be like, you know what, we've proven we're tough. Let's just go out there and just fucking bury them with skill. I just don't. The only discrepancy I really see there is the goaltending battle. And I don't know. Bobrovsky's not going to win you the series. I don't see him losing you the series. But I really need the Rangers to not be in the finals too, because then I can just have a relaxing, like, enjoy it. If Rangers make it, I'm going to be fucking miserable. If they win the cup, I'm going to be so upset.
Yeah, I do hate it. Yeah. I mean, I hate all of it. I hope they both lose.
Let's go to the other side, where everyone else probably also wants both teams to lose. Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers. Paint me a scenario where Edmonton wins this, because for the life of me, I can't craft it. I can't.
They finally get fucking middle and bottom six depth scoring, like anything. Like McLeod.
Are they allowed to make trades right now too?
Right, exactly.
Like,
it's bad. Like,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
there's no depth scoring. Their blue line has actually performed better than I expected, and like, this isn't my take, but I heard it on the Jeff Merrick show. It is interesting to watch Edmonton when they need to lock it down. They play disciplined defense. It just doesn't happen nearly often enough. And I just think when you look at every tier of this matchup, the only spot that they win is McDavid and Draisaitl, right? Forward depth, Dallas by a mile. Blue line, Dallas by a mile. Goaltending, Dallas by a mile. And you're looking for McDavid and Draisaitl to do it all. I'm not convinced McDavid's healthy. I don't know. I threw big money down on Dallas to win the series. Maybe I'll end up eating my words. And I mean, weirdly enough, I didn't even realize at the time, but it was also a hedge bet, because I definitely threw down money on Edmonton after the horrible start, and I got him at like 20-1 odds. I'm like, yeah, I'll play this game. I'll see how this goes. So I guess either way, I'm in okay shape, but I really don't see a path for Edmonton to win, short of like injuries or Ottinger sucking. Like, it just does not compute for me, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I mean, they've got that lineup.
Bouchard's sick though.
Yeah.
You and I have both talked about this a while. Like, we've been big on him for a bit.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me that he was born looking like a 44-year-old. He is.
It still doesn't make sense that
so young.
He's. I think he just turned 24.
Yeah. Have I ever told you that one time at the drop, I was like, "Let's play this game," and I just walked up to random people. How old do you think this guy is? And it was Evan Bouchard. There's no one that guessed younger than 34. And this was like a couple years ago. I was like, he's 21 years old. They're like, what? Or they'd be like, all right, fuck off. I don't care about this. I was like, you should care about this, but all right, whatever.
Well, and then you go around and you show them Artemi Panarin, and they're like 17. Like,
Yeah.
no.
You start with a bus car, like he's in jail, right? He probably is. I would imagine he's in prison, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I would go probably Dallas in 6. I do think. By the way, people like we talked about it was it kind of was a conversation before the Vancouver series. People forget that Leo Draisaitl is still nursing another insane like ankle something injury. He is unfucking believable.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the things that I would do for him to end up in Minnesota.
Actually,
I'd rather him end up in Pittsburgh, if I'm being honest, but that's not going to happen. So.
Yeah.
Where would you rather him end up? Do you want him in Boston or Minnesota?
Utah.
No, everyone is so hard on San Jose Sharks now because, their owner is German, so he wants to go there.
That's it. That's got to be it.
He wants to go where the money is or where the championship is. There's no in between.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Edmonton, though. Are we in agreement? Like, there's no chance that he's in Edmonton after this contract? I'm saying there's no chance. I'm going out there. There's no chance.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't afford him. And you want to talk about the big four. The big four in Edmonton would be Draisaitl, McDavid, Nurse, and Bouchard. Nurse making $925 would be the lowest of those, and Nurse also shouldn't be in anyone's big four. Dude, Bouchard's going to make more than Nurse. There's no way he's not.
Yeah, he has to.
McDavid's going to be making 15 in his next contract. Draisaitl's easily pushing. I mean, he's been on a deal at 8.5. He's pushing for 13 probably wherever he goes. I don't see how you can make that work. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea, but I look at Toronto somehow making Nylander, making pasta money, Matthews making 13, whatever he's making, 13.5?
Probably 13.4 because of everyone's
13.34. Yeah, fucking whatever.
Or 13. Yeah, one of the two.
Right. I mean, they're doing that thing. The fact that they've got a guy like Nugent Hopkins locked up at 5'8" is nice.
It's not even 5'8". I think he has the exact same contract as Eck, doesn't he? I thought they both the same summer signed identical deals. It was
maybe I don't.
2,
either
5,
way, it's
8.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Which is nuts. I'm gonna fact check myself.
Yeah, the beauty with the Nugent Hopkins contract was he was at the age where you don't want to give a guy 8 years, but at the same time 5 whatever. It's okay. Even if he's a fucking power play merchant, okay. If he puts up fucking over a point per game and most of I don't give a fuck if he's making 5. Making 5 sheets, absolutely. I don't give a fuck, dude. Yep. On a team that if we win games by scoring 6 a night, yeah, absolutely. That's where we want our money. And Hyman's locked up. So rich boy. Fucking
Is that the biggest mistake that Toronto ever made?
I don't know. He was never going to do that in Toronto, though.
I don't agree. Why can't he do that on with Matthews?
They don't serve the tap it. That's not how they play, bro. They don't give you tapping. They don't want to do that. Hyman rules. I love his whole game of just being
I don't care how rich he is. I love him.
Yeah.
Nugent Hopkins 5.125.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't give a fuck. 8 years, 100 points a season. Yeah, sure.
First overall pick. People forget.
I think.
Shit. Oh, they've already moved. Sorry, they just changed cap friendly to show what 24-25 is, which I guess that's correct. That's how it would have shown up anyways. Half of their forwards need contracts, so that's gonna be fun.
I mean, they probably only want to.
And only one's an RFA.
I mean, they probably don't want to bring many of them back though. So,
yeah.
It's gonna
still got to replace them.
For Edmonton to pull this off, Rupe Hintz needs to not come back. Skinner's gotta be not actually gonna be better than Skinner. I was gonna say Skinner has to be himself. No, actually, he's gonna be way better than himself.
If Skinner can play his A game, he's a good goalie. He's just not consistent at all.
Right.
He's good enough.
Yeah, it's a.
All right, so Dallas advances.
I'm taking Dallas at 6 there. Yep.
I'm toying with 5, but 6, I'm good with.
Yeah. If Edmonton stretches this thing out to 6, they have to get to 7, then they might win. But no, sorry, they have to do it in 6. That's what I meant. DeBoer's never lost a game 7 in the NHL, which is so gangster. 8-0 in game 7s. That's fucking unbelievable. That fucking rules.
Yeah, I love everyone now that's like hopping on like the hipster stat of like, well, the Rangers aren't going to win the cup because they're the only ones that have a coach that's already won the cup. It's like, what a stupid fucking logic. Like, because there's just so many variables not factored in there. Like, how many coaches played for another team after they won a cup with one set team? How many of them went to teams that had a roster that could win a cup? How many of them got close but didn't quite do it because there was a fucking wagon of a team that beat? Like, it's such a dumb stat to look at and be like, well, he can't do it because the only other coach that's done it is Scotty Bowman. Like, I don't know. No, makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, like,
mad.
I'm looking at 4 teams where I'm like, I'm not going to be pumped about any of these teams winning the cup. The one thing I will say, it's going to be nice to see a team win that hasn't won in what was the most recent one of these teams? Was it Dallas?
Dallas would be the most recent in 99.
Yeah. And like taking the Minnesota part, like taking like the homerism out of it. Dallas is a
fun team. I love so many of their players.
And it's such a well-built, well-constructed team. It's like that's the team I want to see. Like that's the reward.
Doing it the way we're trying to, man. That's the only scouting department that is like undeniably better than what the Wild have had. And if you're in the top 5, you're thrilled. And I'd argue that we haven't seen any of it come to fruition, right? But based on how you scout these players, the way that Judd is drafted, like you've been very in support of the way that he's managed this, not having high picks by and large. Like patience. It's hard to say because I don't know if Kirill Kaprizov is going to have the patience, but like it's going to come around. It has to.
Yeah, and I mean the even like bringing in a guy like Duchesne in the offseason that was on the outs for another team, low money.
What's he gonna do?
The fact that he brought out the heartbreaker was so outrageous. When he scored the game, oh my god! I was like, oh, brother, that's I don't know how I felt. I still am not sure. It was kind of a ridiculous move. Kind of absurd. But any disrespect, I'm all aboard it. I'm all aboard the disrespecting a former team train, so whatever. And like, you know what? At least it wasn't like game 1. That would have been funnier. That would have been really funny. If they did the heartbreaker selling OT of game 1 and they got stomped out in 5. That would have been so funny.
That's what I'm here for.
I kind of wish that happened, but whatever. But like moves like that, where they bring in a guy like Duchesne for low money. Pavelski, how do you root against that guy? And even a breakout year for a kid like Thomas Harley, like unreal.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And we all love it because Suter's on the 3rd pair now.
Playing like what? 10? Whenever I look at his ice, somehow I'm like, oh. His agent probably told him to fuck off. Well,
hey, maybe he's rested enough that he can actually be the first one into the corners now.
Yeah, there you go. Now he's like going to his agent, like, can you talk to the owner? Even his agent's like, bro, fuck off. I'm gonna buy you out.
He's like, but Ryan McDonough went to the GM and he got traded where he wanted. Why can't I? Because you fucking suck,
bro. There's 7 teams paying you right now. Like, shut the fuck up. All right, like Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Anyways,
all right.
moving on.
Minnesota Wild. They announced they're basically replacing assistant GM by committee. All internal promotions. That works. I mean, do we know or care anything about this, really?
Not a whole lot. I do think in terms of like the internal stuff, I don't think that's crazy just because when you look at how they're planning on finding success in the next few years, so much of it's going to be using like through guys that they've developed here. So that doesn't shock me all that much. Plus, we know how Billy Guerin likes to operate with like his people that he handpicks himself and he trusts whatever. That doesn't shock me. The thing that I'm actually going to be really curious, and I kind of love the Matty Hendricks in Iowa thing because I'll tell you, and I've told this story before, when I was 2 or 3 years ago, I was sitting in the press box at BC, and I looked down, there's like fucking Ray Shiro, Matt Hendricks, a couple other. He is so fun. He did not watch a second of this fucking hockey game. He was turning around, talking to some other dude who was a scout for another team, or like possibly like an AG. I have no idea. But like Matt Hendricks was sitting there the whole game. Just like clearly learning about scouting and like whatever, but like was not like he didn't put his fucking pen down, which Craig Button would have shit himself over. Remember when he lost it at fucking Jason Spezza taking notes in the middle of games, and people got mad at like how do you get mad at Craig Button? He's a beauty. But anyways, like Matty Hendricks has legitimately put in work to just like learn about. Like he's taken his role in play development so fucking seriously and just like grinded. I kind of love it. And like Iowa just desperately needs a shakeup. Like I love so many of those players, the young players especially. And this was the first year that we saw a majority of that lineup top to bottom, like being young guys. Like they had their guys like Stephen Fogarty was there, who's like a career AHL guy. Look at that back end. They had maybe 2 vets. Other than that, they were rolling like O'Rourke, Lambos, Masters, Spotcheck, Johansson. Like they were rolling a young D,
and there's
like
more coming in now.
And there's more coming, and like it really. There's some guys that like you see the development, and they look like I think a kid like Damon Hunt could play. I've liked his game in the AHL since he got there, but there has been like year over year, even like before this. Which is for so long, it's been either whatever player they were coming into Iowa, it's just kind of remained. And like we really haven't seen one guy really like pop off. And how much of that you really have control over, I don't know. But when you have the amount of guys that are there now with legit pedigrees and like upside, and like you got a kid like Lambos who got taken the first round, like those types of players, I do think they did need some kind of a shakeup. And I mean, the coaching change made a little bit of a difference where they relied on the youth a little bit. But I don't know really how much focus has been on like development versus winning. And they haven't won fuck all. And like, even when like a year like this year where so many of those guys had to be call-ups just because of the injury situation and the eventually the fucking like the contract situation. Like that was an insane combo. At the same time, like you can't use that as a crutch forever. And you kind of really, especially when there's that many young guys, you want them to taste some success in the AHL. And that does go a long way. So that's what I'm kind of, to be honest with you, that's like, I'm more interested in that. Like, because there's been some real shakeups in the AHL, like in Iowa, that like over the past 2 years, where I think that's going to be something that's going to be crucial for Minnesota in the long run. Because I mean, in the next couple of years, it's not like they're going to go out and like give someone a fucking 7x10. Like they're not going out there and making that big signing in the offseason the next few years. Like they're going to rely on this prospect pool that is legit. So that's where I'm kind of most curious to see like what the effect is there. So I got like Matt Hendricks being GM. I'd love that he like really actually put the work in as far as like he was what he was in NHL, but he fucking worked his fucking balls off like post NHL life. Like he's worked at this. So I'm curious to see what it looks like.
Fair. I think the only other wild topic that I wanted to get to, because everyone's talked, it's been positive, right? The IIHF Worlds. both Gustafsson and Rossi have looked great. My question to you on both of them, and you can take them one at a time, with there already being talk about them potentially being traded, does this make them more likely to be moved because now there's more value and you can get a better return, or it just solidifies whatever deal might have been in the works? Or does it make it more likely that the Wild opt to keep them because, oh shit, we could probably use this player? Start with whichever one you want.
I mean, I think on the Wild side of things, I don't really know how much this does. Like, I think if they were keen on trading either guy or like looking to do it as like some shakeups, I think that was already, if anything, it just kind of gave more exposure. I can understand and eventually buy in to the Gustafsson thing. The Rossi thing, to me, the only way that I am like, all right, I guess I get it, is when Russo came on Fellowship of the Rings, and he explained, like, the only way you do this is if you think this is pretty close to what you're going to get in Minnesota, this is when you're going to have the opportunity to move that player and get a pretty good return. Yeah. To me, I have to like really work to be fully like unbiased, just because I've tracked him for so long, and I like, what a goddamn year that he, like, it's just incredible. The fact that he put it,
he's getting sent away though for hitting overages for the team. What an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what a dick.
Should have forgone his bonuses.
But as Bruce was, like, if you really think that like this is, even if there is like more developed, if you think there's limitations in terms of like that actual upside, like, is he really going to be a guy that's going to be flirting with a point per game and whatever? I get it. Like, okay, I can, whether or not I agree is one thing, but like, if that's how you feel about that, like, yeah, that I get that move, like moving that player to bring in what, I get that. So in terms of like what the Worlds have done, I think it's done more for other teams versus like the Minnesota side of things. Like, I don't think like Gustafsson could have put up 60 saves a game, fucking like shutouts. If they were already deciding that they were going to move him or like wanted to, the only thing that did was just boost his stock, and that probably would have just like, I don't think that would have moved them to keep him at all. I would have been like, yeah, now we're going to get a real nice return, if anything. I also question how much of like, I question how much it does move the needle in the Worlds.
So it's interesting though, because I agree with you wholeheartedly on Rossi. And again, I'm biased as hell. I love Rossi. I hope that he stays. But if the organization has decided that there's a ceiling that he's pretty much already reached, it's time to move on. And regardless of what he does at the Worlds, you're going to feel that way. With Gustafsson, it's different because he was great a year ago, and this year was concerning. And I feel like the move is not a matter of like, oh, and maybe it is more that they want Wallstedt up. I really think it's more about, we're not sure if Gustafsson's the guy, so might as well like double up on that, get him out because he hasn't completely bottomed out with value, and we can bring Wallstedt up and he can be in the tandem with Fleury, and this is a lost year anyways, even though we won't say that publicly, and we're going to pretend that we're going to make a push for the playoffs and win around. Like, bullshit. Bullshit. What a great movie. For me, it's like, I feel like Gustafsson has something to prove. Like, oh shit. Because yeah, is Worlds a big deal? Like, no. But it just shows that he can get it back and he's got the confidence. And that's something you can take with a goalie and roll into next year when you've seen him do it in Minnesota already. You can take that and be like, okay, maybe this year was the anomaly versus his one good year being the anomaly. Like, right now, we don't know what Gustafsson is. You might trade him and regret it forever, right? So him, I thought there was maybe a chance, but you're probably right. It is probably more, hey, if they've made the decision that he's gone, you can't double back on that just based on a couple of games at Worlds. But I thought there was at least room for the conversation with him because of his circumstance.
Yeah, and I mean, even more than just his play this year. Like, I think the thing, like, if they were to move, like, if they decided that they would like to move him, again, I still think that they're licking their chops if he does well at the Worlds. But that, to me, would speak more so to their confidence in Wallstedt being ready. Because if you're not sure, you can fucking, and you want to win, you fucking cannot move Gustafsson next year. Because regardless of how you feel about Marc-Andre Fleury, I think he can still play. If you're not confident that Wallstedt can split the net in the NHL and you want to win games next year and you think you have a chance of making some kind of a bullshit run, I can't even say that seriously.
Well, but
you can fucking not confidently throw Fleury and Wallstedt out there every night. So I think it would speak more so to that confidence in Wallstedt.
I agree. If we're doing this in
with
a vacuum,
we can get a good package for Gustafsson.
Hang on, though. In a vacuum, I hear what you're saying. What if the Wild are looking at what happened this past year, and there's several teams whose best goalie was getting paid $1 million? Like, there's no reason they can't go back to market and bring someone else in instead of Gustafsson as a patch over, right?
Right, yeah. And that's the thing, they can make moves. Yeah.
Save money, get a guy that maybe works, but you're still not sacrificing Wallstedt's development if you think he's not ready.
You go back to the well you did what you did when you signed Cam Talbot.
Right. Which, again, if they trade Gustafsson, I'm begging, send him to LA, please.
And
we'll get 3 weeks of content out of that.
And when you look at the Gustafsson, the contract situation, the fact that we know that he can play, we've seen it now, we've seen it. Yeah. Whether I know it was one really fucking good year, but there's a reason he was a second round pick. He's still fucking, for a goalie especially, he's still young. He's gonna be an RFA when this contract's up. He's making less than $4 million fucking dollars. I've said this before. How does Toronto not make that phone call?
Dude, I want Pittsburgh to bring him back.
I'd
be very okay with that. They probably can't make that work with Jerry. No, I take it back. If they could find a way to get rid of Tristan Jerry, who I think is an incredible goalie, I would be fine bringing Gustafsson in.
Yeah. So,
there, I'm not being biased. It's not just from the Minnesota lens. I would gladly take him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So, again, realistically, all this comes back to the question was posed as far as what's going on in the Worlds. I think if they've decided that they do want to move him, they've decided that that's what. And I'm not even convinced that they've decided they're going to.
Sure.
I think if anything, they're not looking at the performance and saying, "Ooh, maybe you know what, we should bring him back." It's more that package is looking better and better by the day. And we've heard Russo talk about what the potential returns were for guys like Rossi and Gustafsson before, but holy shit, really?
I was shocked. But to your point, though, you've referenced Russo jumping on with me and Joe previously. The one thing Russo was adamant about is you guys think we just talk about this shit for fun. If I'm bringing it up, there's something there. Mm-hmm. And the amount that he's talked about Rossi and Gustafsson tells me that it's fucking there, dude. And I'm not saying they've made the decision, but they're fucking flirting with it. Otherwise, he's not talking about it.
Oh, I think it's a thing we're taking that phone call. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a very serious conversation. Not necessarily we've made our decision.
Right.
Hey, we're not just listening just to listen. What are we talking about? That's what I think. That's where I would, especially given the performance that they've shown, just Rossi this year, Gustafsson last year, plus what he's done for Sweden so far, and then what Rossi's done. So I think that's where that kind of goes. But I'll be honest, I hope neither one happens, just because I think Wallstedt could play, but I think it's still so fucking risky, especially when you look at
I want him to be in a tandem with Wallstedt in a year.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Because again, even at the end of that contract, Gus is still an RFA making shit for a starting goaltender. If you're looking at Gustafsson as the 1A versus the 1B in Wallstedt, his first year or two, it's a great situation. It's perfect. So it's interesting.
Aaron, you are one of us. We are aggravated too, but we have to talk about
it. Also, we have to say it too. The GM's not doing his job if he's not listening to every offer that comes in for every.
Listening is different than exploring. I think those are completely different things. Listening is people reach out and you're well, yeah. If you're a good GM, you're listening on anything that doesn't involve Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby, right? you should listen on everything. Now, if someone's calling you about Kaprizov, like, you don't just hang up the phone because they say Kirill Kaprizov, because fuck, if they put together a package, like, there's a world where it makes sense. But
Right.
exploring is going out and searching for something. That's different.
Yeah, right. And I've mentioned this before. Brian Burke has vocalized this best, where he was just like, when he was doing like after he was GM in Toronto, he was doing when they had Sportsnet 590 every night, or like every day. Hockey Central at noon, when they were doing that every day. And he was like, what are you guys talking about? Every player has a fucking price. When I was a GM, I used to call teams and being like, hey, I want Tavares. Like when he was like 100 points a year on the island. Like, no, he's not. We're not moving him. It's like, oh yeah, if I offer you every first pick that we have for the next fucking like 10 years, you're going to say no? Well, yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So, okay. Right. So yeah. So he is. So that's it. Like, you have to, like you said, listening versus exploring. That's the difference.
Totally. But no, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. If I have to pick one to go, I hope it's Gustafsson. But I'm with you. I'd rather keep both. But we'll see what happens. And hey, if you get a premium return, both are on the table for sure. Again, like my blinders for Rossi, like, you tell me that we can get into the top 5 of this draft. Sure, I'm listening. Let's have fun. But I think there's a lot out there that's not worth it for me, especially when Russo talks about like, oh, let's get a similar player who's bigger and faster. Like, okay, what's an example of that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works. Like, I know what he's saying. That's what you're looking for if you're the Wild, but like, I just don't know what team is going to do that unless it's like a change of scenery type thing. And tell you what, we're 1 year late on that stud down in LA. God damn, if we could have gotten Byfield a year ago, yup. Now that ship sailed.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing here then, and next week we'll get into a better rhythm. Z's been a little under the weather. I think he got the black lung.
It was bad. And then, dude, like, I haven't even been able to look at any hockey. The work is,
needless to say,
oh my God.
Black lung. He was down. Next week, no excuses. We will have a lot more pointed NHL draft coverage, but for this
heavy
week,
draft.
I have to pull this up because I know I sent it to you, Z, and I got multiple L's and multiple O's, a couple more L's. We have to talk about the guy you mentioned earlier. How can anyone get mad at Craig Button? Cute Craig Button.
I still stand by the mad thing. The mad part I get. I still stand by that.
Here's how. Craig's list. Here, I should get rid of the thing on the bottom here so you can see number 10, even though it's really not a big deal. Here's Craig's top 10 list for this draft, and I'm sure part of it is to stir up controversy. And Z, I think we can say that the first 2 picks here, and I'll read them all down. I might as well do that for the podcast, right? Craig Button's prospect rankings for the 2024 NHL draft. Number 1, Macklin Celebrini. Number 2, Ivan Demidov. We're checking out so far. That's in line with you. Then we take a spin. Number 3, Konsta Helenius. Number 4, Tisha Ginla. Number 5, Zane Parekh. Number 6, Zeev Buium. Everyone wants him to go to Utah so fucking bad. Ugh. Number 7, Artem Levshunov. Number 8, Sam Dickinson. Number 9, which is the highest I've seen him in the past month, Cole Yzerman. And number 10, Caden Lindstrom. Z, outside of 1 and 2, let's just get into this. Which of these are you like, you know what? I don't agree, but I can totally see it. And which one of these are like bizarro world to you?
I don't, you know what? It's funny. The only one that
3.
I would even, yeah, but at the same time, I'm not going to go as, definitely do not agree.
All right, tell you what, we're doing our draft stream. You're several beers in. Third overall pick gets called in, Consta Hellenius. Are you shitting your pants a little bit, or are you like,
oh yeah,
whatever, I get it?
Listen. My thing is, would I do it? No. But there is like top 10, absolutely. Like
But
I totally
number
get
3
that.
is different than top 10, dude.
Right. No, I know. Stop
being
that's the
so
thing, like,
nice. Just because it's
Look,
Craig Button doesn't mean you can't be brutally honest. Consta Hellenius at 3 is a little ridiculous, is it not?
it's yeah, I mean, I get like a little crazy, sure, because I would like, for me, the highest I see him going would be, and like even then I'm like, that's a bit of a reach considering who's sitting there, but like 8. That's where I'm like, yeah,
Right.
all right. You love the player, good, fuck it, whatever.
8's fine. 3 is a completely different story.
Yeah. And
This
even like
draft
most of these guys are
3 is-
higher than they're gonna go. Like,
Well, what about Levshunov? That's a
one-
guy that feels pretty disrespected to me. And here we go. We've got Kieran chiming in. Levy at 7 is blasphemy.
I get the concerns with him though. That's the thing.
Right. That one I can see. That for me, the real shocks are twofold. Hellenius at 3, Iginla at 4. And I know Iginla is a riser, but with the players available, you're telling me that Iginla goes 4 and you're not like, what the fuck?
That's one where I'm like, holy fuck, I love it.
Right, but it makes no sense to you, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Because I mean, like it's funny that the biggest, I don't even know if I would say disagreement. The thing that I know isn't happening here is the defenseman. Like, none of those defensemen are going after Hellenius. None of those defensemen are like Levshunov will go 2, 3, 4. Dickinson, that actually isn't crazy. I think I mocked him to Ottawa, which I still think makes so much sense.
Sure.
I either mocked him to Ottawa or I mocked him to Utah. I think Utah I went the big.
Here's what I'm curious about, because I know there's been like a lot more range once you get past the top 4 or 5 in a lot of these mocks. What's the range for Lindstrom? Like, what's the earliest he goes and what's the latest you can see him falling?
Earliest 3, latest 12.
Oh,
so his injury was a big problem.
One pick before Minnesota. Sweet.
Yeah.
He would be perfect.
What's interesting is, like, especially just listening to like guys I actually follow as far as like the scouting world goes, and then like combined with guys who have like a lot of their ranking gets based off what they're hearing from like scouts or whatever. There is legit big time concern over Caden Lindstrom, like in his injury this year, combined with the fact that it was like such a skyrocketing performance. Like the fact that he came out of nowhere. This is the first year he played center, and he did what he did. Then he got hurt, and the injury was a problem. Like, he missed almost half the year. And when he came back, it was like first game, unbelievable, ghost, played well, third game, ghost again. Like, so I know for a fact that there is legit concern over whether or not he's actually going to end up being a center, combined with the injury thing being a big problem.
Okay.
I know, just like hearing guys that have years of the NHL, to me, it's crazy. Like, that upside is out fucking rageous to the point where I can't justify him going after like 5. Like, I can't in my own brain. Like, I can't. Because, like, when you look at his tools, and that's the thing with this draft, it's so funny because, like, there's so much variability with, like, between different scouts outside of, like, 4, where it's like, this is the draft of players with all, like, the tools are insane. But so many of these guys, like, and I mean, the epitome is a kid like Cole Eiserman, where his ceiling, oh my God, best goal scorer in the league. Floor, how the fuck do we put him in the line?
No, totally. He makes total sense to me. Here's a different one then. Give me 2 or 3 guys. Maybe there's one. I don't care. However many you got. Who does it offend you that they're not included in the top 10 list? Like, who is criminally removed?
The guy that I always come back to, and at the same time, I still, like, when I hear some concerns about Berkeley Catton for me. And when we like next week, depending on what position we want to focus on and like focus with like Minnesota Wild targets, like I kind of want to do like realistic range at 13, guys you hope fall to 13, and then players that are like a reach at 13, but like you're betting on the upside there. There is a lot of talk that a kid like I don't think he necessarily would fall to the Wild at 13, but like the amount of disrespect I hear on Berkeley Catton's name is crazy to me, and so much of it is just based on like he needs to be a center and he's 5'10", 5'11". Like, I'm like, wait, is that really what our like big concern is with this kid? He's been torching the WHL for like 3 years. Dude, he is an elite two-way forward. Whether or not he could be like a super high ceiling point per game fucking like pivot type player. Like he does everything you want a center or a fucking point producing winger to do. Like whenever I see him outside the top 10, I just don't fucking get it. Because I've never watched him for an extended, like I've never watched a 10-game stretch of Berkeley Catton and thought, yeah, maybe not a top 10 guy. Like forever, he's always been like 3 to 9. Like, and 9, I'm always like, am I really about to drop him to 9? I can't do it. So whenever I don't see him in a top 10, it's fucking crazy to me.
What's the lowest the lowest house? I don't know how to fucking put it. What's the furthest back in the draft that you've seen him mocked or can like feasibly 14, see him 15. Going? So the Wild could get him.
It's in play. I think there are too many teams like we're crazy to let him go.
Agreed. I'm just saying like it's possible.
Yeah. And like if he's sitting there and you're Minnesota, you're like, holy shit. Like that's the guy, that's the player that we've been targeting for so long. The thing is, like all the signs, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Are you kidding me? Like he is ungoddamn believable. Like his floor looks like Who's the Dinov, where it's like, hey, Who's the Dinov might not give you like 60 plus points, but he's going to be an elite two-way centerman that wins faceoffs, that can defend, that can kill penalties for you, and chip in offense. He's got some skill that's like you can't sleep on it. But like, yeah, he's not going to be like driving offense. That's Berkeley Catton's like absolute floor, but he fucking drives offense. He was Spokane's top 6. Like he has been that guy. He's been their captain for fucking 2 years. Like he is legit. So for me, like whenever I don't see him in the top 10, I don't get it. Like I never understand it. Same time, I do like whenever, usually it's just because of these defensemen that have all the tools in the world. And we know that teams love taking a defenseman with legit upside, both offensively and defensively. So that's what I'm like. I mean, I guess so. But at the same time, like really, like Berkeley Catton's been in all of our top 5s for 2024 for the past 2 or 3 years. So that's the guy for me. Every time I see him outside the top 10, I'm like, man, that's fucking crazy to me. Like, you're really, like, going with size.
Is there anyone else that, like, maybe not as blasphemous as Catton, but do you, like, look and go, like, man, this is a guy that I've got pretty firmly planted in my top 10?
Not really. I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I think – because, like, really, again, like, and this is what I just said. Like, after – 4, 5, 6. There's like 10 guys that if you throw over the top 10, I'm like, all right, I get it. Which is kind of why I actually enjoyed this draft class more than I did last year. Like last year was absurd, but this year there's just so many players that like all throughout the first round you're looking at, and you're sitting there like, this, I could easily see him being a legit top 6 guy. I could easily see him being a top 4 D-man. Like easy. It's just he hasn't put it all together yet. So I think there's going to be so many players who get taken like mid first, but even beyond like second and third round in the 4th round, like rounds 2 through 4. I think when we look back in 5-6 years, you're gonna be like, holy shit, like that's where that guy went.
How are you, baby?
It's Gibby, how are you?
How about Kieran here? Did my homework finally next. On Beckett Seneke, and man, if he's there at number 13 and have a choice between him and Yzerman, I'm taking Seneke. Guy is unreal. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think he's gonna go top 20. There's no way he goes past 20. Just like you look,
I've seen him mocked as early as like 8 or 9.
I saw him today at I think I saw him today around 9 or 10. And I was like, for me, bit of a reach. Totally get it though. Like totally get the appeal.
You get
like
him or Yzerman. Who are you taking?
I don't know. I still believe in that goal scoring in Yzerman, man.
Yeah.
Like, even if he doesn't hit 60 a year.
If he was still going to the Gophers, would you say that?
No, top 5. Top 5.
If he was still committed to the Gophers, I would be beating the drum so fucking hard for him to come here.
Yeah.
And that's how sad my existence is.
Yeah. So, but closing thought on the Button list. The reason that I also never get mad at whatever, Button always veers from consensus, but it's because it's him watching the players. Bobby Mack, he has that's not even chirping Bobby Mack. He is very open. I listen to this guy. It's that's where my list comes from.
Well, he's not giving his opinion. He's giving a prediction, and the prediction is coming from a consensus, which makes a ton of sense.
He's not pretending he's Scott. He's got
just
Button is traveling.
Your mock
Button
was
watches.
This is what I think should happen, not will happen. There's a difference.
But again, that's why every time Button does it, it's he watches these guys relentlessly himself. It's just him.
It's a lot of U.S. and Canada minus Demidov. Oh, I guess Hellenius. All right, I take it back.
Lev Shunov. Belarusian.
He's playing in the U.S.
Fair enough.
What, we're going to say Celebrini's a Canadian? Fuck that.
Yeah, no, he's not. Nope.
He's ours now.
He's ours. He lives here. So, what do you want?
He chose to leave that shithole for America.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, just with the Button, I am so fascinated by where Hellenius is going to end up going. If he's sitting there,
big range of outcomes.
If he's sitting there for Minnesota,
do you want Hellenius or Yzerman? It's gonna be my question every time.
Give me Hellenius, dude.
Hellenius or number 1 draft son.
That's Felix Undersorum, who has already been drafted.
This year.
I win either way. I'm happy either way. I guess I have to. I can't disown my son, so I'll just step my son. I'll be
for anyone that's never listened before, which I don't know how you'd randomly happen across this episode, but that means
in the middle of the Eastern Conference final. I love that kid. That's one where I'm you take him over Hellenius. I'm you better son, listen, we're going to the driveway. You're gonna be. It's what's a kid screaming? I'm instead of a soccer ball, I'm putting in the crib. I'm giving a hockey puck. You better be good at this.
Finches, Phil? Finches?
No, really? Way to go, Bing Bong!
No, I was gonna say. Next thing you know, he's got the fucking solo cup. Just
that movie is so fucking good.
Only Will Ferrell can make a PG movie enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. They threw it on for the bus ride. We had a coach bus for one of our hockey trips, and I don't know if I was a sophomore or a junior, but they threw that in, and I'm you fucking losers. Why are we watching this? And I was fucking hooked.
Not only the PG thing, only Will Ferrell could make a movie with that much Mike Ditka in it. Incredible. Usually
Ditko's actually pretty good in it, though.
That's what I mean.
Not because of Will Ferrell, though. I thought he did an okay job.
He did, but usually it's he's that guy in the movie where it's just the scenes where it's him fucking with this lawn. But he's in it that much, going back and forth with Will Ferrell, it's so fucking good.
Okay,
the dynamic is fucking incredible.
Let's be real. John C. Reilly doesn't exist without Will Ferrell.
Yeah, the power of Will Ferrell is just unbelievable. He fucking rules. That guy is unbelievable.
He's my hero. I'm obsessed with him.
Again, I sent you the clips when he just showed up at the roast of Bieber. Oh my god.
He showed up at the roast of Brady too.
I know he showed up.
It wasn't as good, but tell you what, it was better than fucking Ben Affleck. That was a joke.
Yeah, that was a tough scene for everybody.
Bad. He was the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, I would throw fucking Dana White in the conversation too. Thank God.
No,
Tony
I think Ben
Hinchcliffe
Affleck
came
was
in.
worse. I think
Yeah,
Ben
I
Affleck
mean-
was worse.
Affleck's just like not funny like that. Affleck's like, oh, all right, guys, we're talking about Tommy touchdown here. Let's take it easy. Dana White was like, let me go fucking insult the libs. It's like, all right, bro. Jesus Christ. Like, good for you, man. Like, you go do that.
Dana can also do whatever the fuck he wants, and like that's just how it is.
Yeah, if only fucking I almost said something bad. Not gonna do that. I'll say it after the stream. I'll tell you.
There we go. After the stream. No, dude, Will Ferrell is awesome. I think to this day there is no better persona that's been encapsulated by anyone than Will Ferrell as Harry Carey.
Oh. The face. I think it's like the face combined with the shit that was like, wow.
Hey, what if? Hey, if you were a hot dog and you were starving, would you eat yourself? I know I would. Oh, I'd smother myself in brown mustard. I'd be so delicious.
He's so fucking good at everything he does. God damn it.
Stop jerking me around, Norm.
There, this is the time where we end it.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right.
Shit.
All right. Next week, full
one
very
thing we gotta-
major.
Hang on. One thing I gotta address. I know you're at least familiar with. You don't really listen much to Pardon My Take, though, right?
Yeah.
So they brought PK Subban on, and it was a good interview. But holy fuck, did they told him what they were gonna do, and they still tied him in a fucking pretzel. Their whole thing is like, if there's like a stupid bit that we can grab onto and no one can punch a hole in it, we're gonna do it. And they had him so frustrated debating whether or not Connor McDavid can win the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. And he's like, yeah, but this and this and this. They're like, right, but like those guys, like this guy's won it. Hang on, has McDavid ever won the big one? And he was like beside himself, and it was just so great.
Yeah. Subban's whole thing is fascinating to me.
He's an interesting.
Like everyone here in Boston, like it's relentless. The fucking like the chirps and everything. He's got
weird
forever
racists going after Subban.
That's where it always goes. But everyone here has, especially at the end of his career, everyone's like, he was such a baller though when he was getting all that fucking hate. Like, fuck it, we kind of love this fucking guy. Plays the heel so well. We're like, this guy's a sicko. We fucking love him. And then he openly on national TV was like, I fucking hate the Boston Bruins. Fuck them. Fuck their fans. Hope they lose every game. And now everyone's like, fuck this guy.
No, I feel like I didn't like that.
Oh, yeah? Retire at 32, you piece of shit.
Hang on, though. Based on your train experience, Z, when they're like, oh, have a great holiday.
Yeah,
fuck's her problem. Like, him coming after him should be like something that they'd enjoy.
Well,
like
I think
Nylander, right?
I think it was. I think everyone was like, yeah, it's kind of funny until he did the thing with the Marchand where he's just like, yeah, I love it. It's like, okay, well,
yeah, fair.
No one can support you now, buddy. That's fucking weird. Like,
no,
you just took the fucking like classic hockey Twitter take and you put it on national TV. Good for you, pal. You fucking idiot.
It was surprising to me that he like came out and so emphatically said Sidney Crosby is still the best player in the league. And I'm like, I wish you guys knew a little bit more about hockey and you could think to ask him about how his breath smells. Like, I needed that to happen so fucking bad. You have no idea.
It's always crazy that Crosby actually was like, yeah, that fucking like was really, I hated that. Usually like,
he
bro,
hates
you won the cup
media
anyway.
attention. He hates it.
I know it's just crazy that he actually was like, yeah, that was really fucking annoying.
He's like, wait, I was on TV. Like, yeah, dude, you were fucking playing in the playoffs. Like, I don't like it.
Crosby's whole thing is like, yeah, I'm just a guy. I'm like, no, you're not, bro. I'm like, you're fucking not. He's like, yes, I am.
Dude,
yes,
I love how he like will not get married to his girlfriend until he's like out of hockey.
It's unbelievable.
She's like, Dude, are we gonna have to wait another like 10 years from today before I can like have a
She
fucking?
has to be like,
from
bro, this is
security?
fucking. This is
There's gotta be
fucking.
some kind of contract where she's like, sure, you won't like go forward with the wedding, but like I still get half your shit if you like leave me.
Yeah, she's like, bro, how about we just do it and not tell her?
Single picture of me on social, done. It's ripped up.
Yeah, she's just like, how about we just like, we'll go to the court, like we'll just do it, but not tell anybody. He's like, do you know how superstitions work?
All of my cups came when I wasn't married. I can't be married.
I'm wearing the same cup. It's been surgically repaired.
She's like, yes, I know. You make me remove it every time we have sex. Like, goddamn.
Sydney, enough of this.
I don't know how we ended on that, but that's a great way to end it.
Yeah, it feels on brand though. Buddy.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Actually, next week we will be doing like I'm at the point now where I'm like watching the playoffs, but I don't feel that like if there's a big storyline, we'll come on here and like mention it a little bit. But like we'll be
He's here.
Very, very, very NHL draft focused for the next month now because now I'm back doing the videos again.
Let us know in the comments, guys. Like, do you want to have like rankings by position? Do you want like things more focused on the Wild? Like, let us know what you want. Otherwise, we're just going to throw random shit out there and hope that you like it. So let us know if there's certain players you want to know more about, if there's leagues that you don't watch and want to know more about. Like, we don't care. Z's just an encyclopedia and he'll just talk about whoever I throw at him. Like, I don't know. Z, talk about Kitty Haru. Go off.
I need to know I need to know how these teams feel about him, man. Because like this year really killed him. Like killed him. Where like to me it's kind of crazy if there's a couple guys that be sitting there late in the first where it's like,
do we
know the upside in Kiviharu though? It's through the roof.
So like I said, I can just name any player and he'll just go off. So let us know what you want to hear about and we'll do it.
Yeah, and the rankings from the Athletic when they did their mock draft today, fucking promin threw Stian Solberg in there, which someone asked me about last week. Talk about the world championship bump of all time. Anyways, maybe we'll talk about Solberg next week.
That might happen. Maybe that's all we'll talk about next week.
It's a Solberg episode. This kid from fucking Norway. Just ripping it up, killing people.
Oh, some are saying he's the best Norwegian prospect.
I will rip their throat out.
I thought Bronseg Nygård wasn't a Norwegian prospect.
All right. You bring up a good point. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck me. End it here. Carry.
What's your favorite planet?
Fuck off.
Mine's the sun. I like it because it's like the king of planets.
Please end this.